Hey, Shalom Israel, for all the brothers and sisters tuning in, man. We live. If y'all could like and share the class, let everybody know we live. Baba Kasha. All right, Most High Christ, we go ahead and get into it. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah, all the brothers, Yahweh Shemal, Thamba Shem Yahshua, all the sisters. You are live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. I am Priest and Captain Soccer Wall, holding down the class in Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis. You brothers and sisters tuning in, you got any family, loved ones, people you care about in Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with the ISUPK. Since 1969, we have been teaching so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2021, there is nothing more important than for God's chosen people to find out the truth of who they are, where they come from, and what their purpose is on the earth. So what these classes give us an opportunity to do is to go into this book called the Bible and to gain some understanding of what it's talking about. The Bible is a book that's been around for a long time, for many generations, thousands of years on the earth. And it is the most largely misunderstood and uncomprehended compilation of writings that I would say has ever been on the earth. Right. So what we do in ISUPK is we go into the Bible to remove all of the confusion, to dispel all the rumors, to clear up all of the, things that are taken out of context concerning this book, who it pertains to, and how we apply it to our lives today. We don't use the Bible as a good luck charm. It's not a book that we look at as just full of feel-good writings. The book is the historical and cultural record of a race of people on the earth and their dealings with God. And then you get into the Bible and you get to understand it and studying it. That race of people are the people who have suffered oppression, slavery, subjugation in the Western Hemisphere at the hands of who the Bible says is their oppressors and the devil on the earth. And so in 2021, there's a lot of things going on in the earth, and our oppressor, being the devil that is spoken of in this book, has lied to us about what's taking place in the earth. You understand? So tonight's class is going to be about how the Most High is visiting the earth. We will get some understanding about how God deals with us on the earth. We're going to talk about Mother Nature. We're going to talk about global warming. We're going to talk about this COVID-19 pandemic, the economic collapse that's been taking place for many years in this country. We're going to talk about the civil unrest that is really taking place in many places across the earth, but it is coming to America in a much more prevalent and a much more transformative way than what you saw during the time of the George Floyd protests. All these things that are going on in the earth, they are not coincidence. These things that are going on in the earth today, they are not happenstance. These things that are taking place in the earth today, it is not Mother Nature. You understand? Historically, all of the natural disasters that we have seen play out and take place on the earth the Bible gives us some understanding of the role that God played in those destructions. And our oppressor wants to hide from us that the Lord is the one who is responsible for life or death. The Most High is the one who causes earthquakes, tornadoes, and hurricanes. The Most High is the one, you understand, that causes trade markets to boom and the rich to get rich, and causes for economic collapses, which result in people becoming poor. You understand? Our oppressor wants us to believe that there's a system in place that they run and that they are in control of it, without acknowledging that there is a God, that there is a power that is above them, that is the one who truly determines who wins and who loses in this world. And we are living in the time of losers. You understand? We're living in a time where in this society, putting your trust and your faith in this society in whichever way that you may do it, and not acknowledging the power of the Most High, it is going to result in you being a loser. All these things we see going on, like I said, global warming, there's a ton of things happening in the earth right now. You somebody that pay attention to the news outside of just your community, you'll see that there's wildfires and droughts all over the West Coast right now. You understand? There's heat flashes and heat indexes all across, you understand, the middle part of the country right now. You understand? And there's other parts of the world and other parts of the country where they're getting torrential rains and they're getting flooding like they've never seen it before. There's earthquakes that's happening, volcanoes that are erupting. Not to mention there's a global pandemic in the form of COVID-19 that is shutting down and transforming the way that people live their lives. And all of this is the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. You understand? A brother on YouTube asked a question, are the cookouts open to civilians? Yes, if you're an Israelite, you can attend any of our functions or events that we have. But you're going to be it's going to be checked to verify that you are an Israelite. If you are not an Israelite, if you are a heathen, then you will not be allowed. All right? So that's what we're going to talk about today, man. All the great calamities that are taking place in the earth today and historically are God's doing. You understand? There's no such thing as Mother Nature. So let's go ahead and get into it. First scripture we're going to go to is Exodus chapter 9, verse 13. Like I say, when you go into the Bible and you go into studying the history of different events that have taken place on the earth, you read about different accounts in the Bible of events that took place. The Bible is very clear on where natural disasters come from. You understand? And it is solely given to the power, it's solely given into the hands of the Most High that these things on the earth take place. So let's go ahead and read Exodus chapter 9. We'll start at verse 13. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh and say unto him, thus the Lord God of the Hebrews. So like it, thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, let my people go that they may serve me. So Moses went to Pharaoh with a very simple statement. Listen, man, the God of the Hebrews, the most high power in the earth, he said, let them people go to worship him. Verse 14, for I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart and upon thy servants and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. So this is a very serious threat that's being levied against Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Verse 15, for now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. Everybody understands? So the Lord warned Pharaoh, before anything had taken place in Egypt, he warned Pharaoh to listen to Moses and let the children of Israel go. And the threat was, if you don't, I'm going to send all my plagues on your heart, on your servants, and on your people. And I'm going to send pestilence on them until you discontinue from off the earth. Now let's go ahead and get the Merriam-Webster's dictionary and get the definition of the word pestilence, all right? Pestilence is one of those words that you think you know what it means. You understand? But let's go ahead and get the dictionary definition. Now, we're living in a time of what? We're living in a time, COVID-19. Some virus is floating around. We're dealing now with the Delta variant. Those of y'all that may not be familiar with medical terminology, in the medical field, they use Latin prefixes and suffixes when describing different things. So a lot of them terms and medical terms come from. Sound like another language? It is. The language that it is Latin. You understand? I'm trying to think of one now, man. Give me a medical term, somebody. A pulmonary embolism. You hear the word pulmonary. And you say, what the hell is pulmonary? Well, pulmonary has to do with your veins, your blood vessels. You understand? That your pulmonary arteries or your pulmonary system, that's where blood flows. Where did that come from? Well, the word pulmonary has a Latin root, which means in the blood or something like that. You understand? Somebody may have a, man, I can't think of it right now. But a lot of the medical industry uses a lot of Latin terminology. So we're gonna read that. We're dealing with the time. We're in the time of COVID-19. We're dealing with all these different variant strains of COVID, and people get infected, and people dying and losing their lives. Well, what does the Bible say about COVID-19? What does the Bible say about these diseases that come up, and there's no way to track them, no way to stop them? You know, and then our oppressor has to scramble and try to find cures and vaccines in order to stop what it is that God is doing. This is the Merriam-Webster's dictionary definition of pestilence: a contagious or infectious epidemic disease that is virulent and devastating. Everybody understands? Read it one more time. Pestilence is a contagious or infectious epidemic disease that is virulent and devastating. God warned Pharaoh that he would send pestilence among them. God said to Pharaoh, if you don't let my people go, I'm going to infect you with a virulent disease. I'm going to cause a pandemic to sweep through you and your people until you all die and there's no more left. Well, guess what? We live in America 2021, and the Lord has sent pestilence into this place. The Lord has sent pestilence into the earth. And COVID-19 is doing the job that the Most High prescribed for it to do. But for all of the whys and all of the whys and the reasons, we'll get into that as we go further in this class. But I wanted to establish that God, in the days of Moses and Pharaoh in Egypt, warned Pharaoh that he was going to send pestilence among them and wipe them out for not allowing his people to go free. Keep reading. Exodus chapter 9, verse 16. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. The Lord said, for this reason, what was the reason? The Lord is going to destroy Egypt and wipe them off the earth. The Lord said, this is why I allowed you to come to power in the first place. This is why I allowed you to become an empire in the earth. Let's not forget, the reason why Egypt became great in the first place was because Joseph was a prisoner there. And the Lord used Joseph to prophesy to the Pharaoh of his time that there was a drought coming of 7 years. And that after that, and there was 7 years of plenteousness coming with the crops. And then after that 7 years of a plenteous harvest, there were going to be 7 years of a drought. Now, how would Joseph have known that in the next 14 years, 7 of these years, the harvest is going to be great? Then the next 7 years, the harvest is going to be horrible. It's going to be a drought. The crops are not going to grow. Who's in charge of how well the crops grow? Who's in charge of the weather that makes sure enough rain comes down to nourish the crops? Who's in charge of the soil to make sure that the soil has enough nutrients to feed the plants so that they'll grow big and strong for the farmer to go and harvest them? God is the one that is in control of those things. God is the one that has the knowledge, and he imparted it unto Joseph. He gave it to Joseph to be able to interpret dreams, to be able to tell what was going to come to pass. The power and the ability to understand the workings of God has always been given to the children of Israel, always been given to one family in the earth. Egypt became great because of Israelites, because of a man of God prophesying. And then generations later, Egypt was brought to his knees because of what? Because a man dealing with God, Moses, and God using that man to prophesy the destruction of that same place who generations before God had allowed to rise up. God said, this is the reason why I rose Pharaoh and Egypt up, so that when I destroyed you, I would show my power and my name would reign throughout all the kingdoms of the earth. Exodus chapter 9, verse 17. And as yet exaltest thou thyself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. Verse 18. Behold, tomorrow about this time, I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as has not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. The Lord warned, listen, tomorrow I'm going to make it rain. And it's going to be a rain like you've never seen rain before. Oh, it's going to be record-setting rain. God made rain come down at record-setting levels in Egypt over 6,000 years ago. You think what's happening in China right now is not God? You're seeing drought take place in this country like there's never been hotter days as hot as the days that we're experiencing now. You think that's not God? There's drought in some places. I heard there's a drought so bad in Phoenix or Arizona or Nevada or California, one of them, where they're telling people you can't use the water no more. Matter of fact, here's what it is. Out there in Nevada where the Hoover Dam is, they said the water is so dangerously low right now that if there's not rain or something taking place right now or very soon, that entire ecosystems are going to die. All the animals that thrive off the water that's in that dam, they're going to die and it's going to region further than what it is destroyed already. And you think this isn't God doing these things? This is God working, man. It's the Most High causing these things to come to pass. The same way he did during the days of Pharaoh back in Egypt. Reading on, Exodus 9 and 19. Send therefore now and gather thy cattle and all that thou hast in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die. They shall die. What happens in these natural disasters, man? People die. People lose their life. Why? Because God is not playing. Because the Most High is not a joke. But the white man, our oppressor doesn't want you to know that it's God that's doing it. Our oppressor wants you to think that, it's just global warming. Maybe we pumping too much pollution into the sky. Our oppressor wants to create a carbon tax. So he can tax you for using, electricity and things like that because of all the natural disasters, when it's not pollution that's causing these things to take place. It's not, CO2 emissions from cars and vehicles that's causing these things to take place. We'll get into why God is visiting the earth this way. We'll get into why God is having earthquakes in this place and flood over there and droughts over here and COVID-19 killing everybody. We'll get into why God is doing it. But we first have to understand through the context of the scriptures just how it is that we can tell when God is visiting the earth. So we're going to go from Exodus 9. We're going to now go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 18. All right. It's Exodus chapter 20, verse 18. This is when the Lord spoke to the children of Israel. He delivered the 10 commandments. And the people said that they wanted to talk to the Lord. Moses, the Lord said, bring them to the base of the mountain, and I'm going to speak with them there. Bring them to the base of the mountain, and I'll deal with them and establishing my covenant. So this is the part where the Lord is now speaking to the children of Israel. So let's see. Exodus chapter 20, verse 18. It says, and all the people saw thunderings, and the lightnings, and the noise of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. So these people, they were at the base of the mountain. And all of a sudden, a dark cloud came upon the mountain, and they saw thunderings and lightnings. You understand? And they heard the sound of a trumpet, and they saw smoke coming out of the mountain like it was a volcano getting ready to erupt. And what did the people do? They ran, man. They got the hell from the base of that mountain. They thought it was a volcano coming. They got the hell away because they were so afraid at all of this natural occurrences. This cloud with this thundering and lightning and the smoke coming from the top of the mountain. People got scared. Read on, verse 19. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God has come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said unto Moses, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. This dark cloud with this thundering and this lightning, that was the Lord speaking with the children of Israel from heaven. And understand this, now the people who witnessed that, they saw a natural disaster, man, waiting to happen. They saw something in the weather, something in the earth shaking, something in the mountain that made it smoke. And they knew that it was the Lord, and they were afraid. But through that natural disaster, through all of that, Moses was speaking to the Lord. And that has always been the way that God has dealt on the earth. For one man, it's some natural disaster, it's some horrible tragedy, it's some force of nature. But for a man of God, it's a message from the Lord. For a man of God, it's the Most High speaking to warn his people, speaking to urge his people to stop sinning. The Lord visiting his people and visiting the earth so that they can be reminded of who truly is the power. And that's why the Lord does it. So that we would be afraid and we would do what he said to do. And only our oppressor is so arrogant to not be afraid of God. I remember when Hurricane Sandy took place. For y'all that don't remember, Hurricane Sandy was something that came and hit the East Coast. Hit New Jersey, hit New York. It was flooding all in Manhattan. All types of flooding down in the New York subway system. You understand? And all of that was God's doing. God brought all of that. But for those of us who are in tune with the Most High, who are obeying him, we saw that and we said, the Lord is getting fed up with the evil of this place. The Lord wants his people to change. Hurricane Katrina. Hundreds of thousands of people died. It was a horrible, horrible tragedy. And in that tragedy, in the wiping out of the way of life of the people of New Orleans, there was a message from God that he was not satisfied with that place. He was not satisfied with the way our people were living. That there were people who the Lord needed to be freed from that environment and freed from that way of life. So he just washed it all away, man. These natural disasters and these things that are occurring in the earth, the Lord isn't doing it for no reason. He's doing it so that he will be heard. COVID-19 is the Lord making sure that he's heard. The global warming that's taking place in the earth, the natural disasters that are occurring, that our oppressor is saying is global warming, is the Most High desiring to be heard. It's the Most High making sure that he's heard. It's the Most High saying, change your life, stop sinning, stop living wickedly, stop doing evil, because this is how you'll die. I'll come visit you. You understand? Let's get Nahum chapter 1, verse 3. Shalom, Yahweh. Let's go ahead. Get Nahum chapter 1, verse 3. All right. Tonight's class, we talk about how the Most High is visiting the earth, specifically focusing on natural disasters, and all the different forms of destruction that are occurring in the earth today. And we're showing you through the context of the scriptures that this is God's doing, that the Lord is the one behind all of this. You see a drought, people suffering, ain't got no water, God is doing it. You see flooding, people drowning. I seen a video, man, in China. I'm talking about the water was 30 feet high. You had cars floating around like kids, rubber duckies in the bathtub. It's God doing that. You got earthquakes and volcanoes and all kinds of stuff erupting all over the earth. You got animals dying off, birds dropping dead in the sky. All these things are God's doing. And there's a reason why the Lord is doing it, and we'll get that as we continue on. But let's go to Nahum chapter 1, verse 3. Matter of fact, I'm going to read from Nahum chapter 1, verse 1. It says, the burden of Nineveh, the book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshite. Verse 2, God is jealous, and the Most High revengeth. The Most High revengeth and is furious. The Most High will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserves wrath for his enemies. The Most High is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Most High has his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. The Most High has his way in the whirlwind and the storm. What is that talking about? That's talking about the hurricane. That's talking about the tornado. That's talking about the tsunami if you're in the eastern hemisphere of the world. The Lord is the one to do these things, man. And there's no escaping it. There's no getting away from it. The only option you have is to acknowledge it's God and to fear him and to pray that he never brings it down on you. Keep reading. He rebuketh the seas and maketh it dry, and drieth up all the rivers. You understand? Bashan languisheth, and Carmel and the flower of Lebanon languisheth, given different land areas that are being broken by these natural disasters. Verse 5, the mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence. Yea, the world and all that dwell therein. The mountains quake. See them earthquakes? That's the Lord. Volcanoes erupting? That's the Lord. You understand? Hills melting. What make a hill melt? That's that lava coming down from that volcano. That's that heat scorching the mountainside. You understand? And the earth is burned at his presence. Yea, the world and all that dwell therein. Verse 6. Who can stand before his indignation? Who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. This is the Most High. You understand? You see, I keep relaying the Most High to natural disasters. I keep talking about things that's occurring in nature. The rocks falling down, the hills melting, the sea drying up. This is how the Lord deals with the earth. This is how the Lord visits us and shows us his power. Verse 7. The Most High is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust him. But with an overrunning flood, he will make an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. He'll make a flood and just wipe you out, and darkness will pursue his enemies. This society we living in is so fragile, man. Think of everything we have right now. Right now, you sit at your home, you watching this class on your telephone, on your phone, on your mobile device. You watching it on your laptop. You're watching it on your smart TV that's connected to the internet and your Facebook profile or your YouTube page. Well, imagine the Lord just came through and just, with a little flood, a little bit of rain, and wiped out the power grid. The Lord just turned the heat up a little bit and just fried all the wires that's hanging out at all your electrical substation systems and wiped out all the power. then what happened? Then where's your society? Where's your law and order? Where is your keeping everything together? Right now, we're living in a time where, you know, air conditioning is a relatively a necessity. Like, damn near everybody got an air conditioner. But what if the Lord just made it so hot that there's no power? Think of people who you know living in apartment buildings. Think of people you know living on 3-4 stories. You understand? You somebody, you got a house, you may have a yard. Hell, power don't work. Maybe you bring the family and open up some tents and we sleep in the backyard. You somebody living in an apartment building, you in a 13-floor apartment building, and you living on the 7th floor, and God just come through and wipe out all the power. You ain't got no air conditioning. You on the 7th floor, it's hot, it's smoldering. What you gonna do for comfort? What you gonna do to bring ease to yourself? There's nothing that you can do. And we don't realize how fragile this way of life is, and the Lord could just come through with a little flood or hold back the rain and just let there be a little drought, and everything that you trust in disappears. Keep reading. Hold up. We drop Nahum. Now we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. All right? Go to Isaiah chapter 29, verse 6. All right. Isaiah 29 and 6 says, "Thou shalt be visited of the Most High of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire." That's how the Lord come deal with you. That's how the Lord come visit you. You in the place that's wicked, a place that's evil, a place where God is fed up, he'll come visit you. How's he going to come visit you? He's going to come visit you in the form of a natural disaster. He's going to come visit you in the storm of the century. He'll come visit you in a Category 5 hurricane. He'll come visit you in a mile-wide tornado. You understand? He'll come visit you in the drought, in the heat wave. And we in Memphis, Tennessee, the Lord visited this place in a snowstorm early this year. Snow like they never seen it before. You understand? And while we carnal, we just like, damn, man, it's snowing, the roads are jammed up and this and that. Think of the dope fiends that couldn't get served because everything was shut down because of the snow. Think of the little girls that didn't get molested. You know what I'm saying? Or the boys that didn't get shot because they wasn't on the block because the snow had stopped everything. You don't know what the Lord is doing when he visits this place. But your oppressor doesn't want you to acknowledge that it's God that's doing it. He wants you to believe it's something other than the Most High. You understand? The Bible is showing us and telling us time and again that the Most High is the one that we see in the weather, that we see in all of these natural phenomena. So our oppressor wants you to believe it's Mother Nature. Why Mother Nature? Because Mother Nature, she loves you. She cares. She be on her period sometimes, but Mother Nature is, she's nurturing and coddling. That ain't no Mother Nature. It's God, and it's God being disgusted at all the evil that he sees on the earth, and almost feeling like, man, they forgot who I am. They think they just gonna do whatever they want to do. Ain't gonna be no consequences or repercussions. That's not how it go down. Psalms 18 and 13. It says, "The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire." Everybody understand? Verse 14, "Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them. He shot out lightnings and discomfited them." Everybody understand? The Lord is the one that is, again, one man's natural disaster is another man's sign from God. We just read how the Lord warned Pharaoh through Moses that if you don't let my people go, I'm going to bring pestilence down. One man's global pandemic is another man's God wiping out our enemies. Right now, we're in the time of COVID-19, and COVID-19 is a very serious and real thing. Nobody should take it lightly, but understand that God is behind COVID-19. The Most High is the one who determines who lives and who dies. You understand? And just because you die doesn't mean the Lord is against you. But understand that the Lord is doing this thing, and it is having an effect globally. It doesn't just affect the family or the loved ones who pass away, but it affects the entire system of oppressors who murders and kills and promotes evil in the earth, ruling over God's people. And that's why he brings these things down. The Lord does the things that he does to cripple systems and to bring down empires, to remind the earth that he's the true power. Now, why is it important that I bring these things out? Why am I saying it like this? Because right now there's a concerted effort being made in the earth to convince you that God has no power, that the power is in the hands of our oppressor. I watched the whole video and read an article today about how in Dubai is a place that is over there in the Middle East, United Arab Emirates. Everybody understands? It sits on the coast of the Indian Ocean, out there in the Middle East. And out there in Dubai, they are pouring so much money and their wealth and resources that are available in this place that the heat in Dubai is ridiculous. I'm talking about 135, 140 degrees weather. It's crazy. Well, I read an article where to stop the heat, they sent drones into the clouds and shot the drones with electronic pulses to create charges in the clouds so that it would make rain fall down. You understand? It's matter of fact, I'm about to see if I can pull up a video and play it for y'all in the class. There is an article that is out and available right now for you to go read about scientists in Dubai creating rain. You understand? And this is what your oppressor wants you to believe that this is how rain falls. They want you to believe that this is where the storms come from. Surely it's not God. Surely the Most High isn't punishing anybody. Surely God isn't having his way in the tempest and the storm. That's just, that's just the weather modification program. Do not believe the hype of your oppressor. You understand? The Most High is the one that is behind all these things. He is not one to be mocked. Let me go ahead and see something. Hold up. Let me see something. I don't know. How do I get this? Okay, here we go. I want y'all to see this and understand what it is that your oppressor is trying to get you to accept. He does not want you to accept that it is the Lord. He wants you to accept something else. Let me see something. Hold on. Hold on. All right, for those of you tuning in online, let me know what y'all seeing. Somebody type in, let me know if you're seeing the YouTube video right now. Or are you still seeing me talking? Let me know. So I'm trying to pull up the video for y'all. All right, let me see something. All right. Stop the screen share. Now I'm doing the share screen. Boom, boom. Okay, now the screen is being shared. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, that's what I want. Boom. Okay, now you can see. Boom. Now y'all see the video. I want y'all to watch this video. We're gonna watch this video together. All right. Put the sound on there. I'm gonna turn it for you. All right. For the sister that's in the class, I'm gonna turn this around for you to be able to see. All right. Can you see it from there? All right. Boom. Here we go. So it says the United Arab Emirates, parched from heat waves
and an arid climate, is testing new technology to zap clouds with electricity to artificially create rain. Similar forms of cloud seeding have existed for decades. But the process has typically used salt flares and has come with concerns about the environment, expenses, and effectiveness, according to the Desert Research Institute and CNN. So the UAE is now testing a new method that has drones fly into clouds to give them an electric shock to trigger rain production. The BBC and CNN have previously reported. The project is getting renewed interest after the UAE's National Center of Meteorology recently published a series of videos on Instagram of heavy rain in parts of the country. Water gushed past trees, and cars drove on rain-soaked roads. The videos were accompanied by radar images of clouds tagged #cloud seeding. The Independent reports recent rain as part of the drone cloud seeding project. The UAE has used other cloud seeding methods involving salt flares in the past. The UAE oversaw more than 200 cloud seeding operations in the first half of 2020, successfully creating excess rainfall, the national news reported. There have been successes in the US, as well as China, India, and Thailand. Long-term cloud seeding in the mountains of Nevada have increased snowpack by 10% or more each year, according to research published by the American Meteorological Society. A 10-year cloud seeding experiment in Wyoming resulted in 5 to 10% increases in snowpack, according to the state of Wyoming. The practice is used in at least 8 states in the western U.S. and in dozens of countries, the Scientific American reported. The UAE is one of the first countries in the Arab Gulf region to use cloud seeding technology, according to the National Center of Meteorology website. Martin Ambaum, a researcher who was part of the team that worked on the drone initiative, told the BBC the aim of the UAE's project is to change the balance of electrical charge on the cloud droplets, causing water droplets to clump together and fall as rain when they are big enough. The efforts are part of the country's ongoing quest to ensure water security, since the 1990s through the UAE Research Program for Rain Enhancement, according to the center. Water security remains one of the UAE's main future challenges, as the country relies on groundwater for 2/3 of its water needs, according to the National Center of Meteorology website. The arid nation faces low rainfall level, high temperatures and high evaporation rates of surface water, the center says. Paired with increased demand due to high population growth, this puts the UAE in a precarious water security situation, according to the center. But rain enhancement may offer a viable, cost-effective supplement to existing water supplies, especially amid diminishing water resources across the globe, the center said.
Success is never hard.
Everybody understand. So they working on programs where they zapping the clouds with electricity, trying to make it rain. They said these programs have been being used in America and China. Now, what is the end result of that? The end result is for people to believe that the white man controlling the weather. The oppressor, the one, look, listen, before all of this, there were programs, a HARP program they talked about where our oppressor could control the weather. They said that the HARP program was behind the last earthquake that occurred in Haiti. That the HARP program was responsible for the rain that came during Hurricane Katrina. That's the Lord, man. Our oppressor doesn't have the power that the Most High has. And the Most High deals in the earth through natural disasters. Why do they have these programs? Why do things like HARP exist? Because our oppressor is attempting to mimic the power that God has. Sis, you want to say something?
Okay, so hold on. Did they actually make rain, or did the Most High send rain? Like this level?
Well, okay. They made rain. They made rain. The same way they made it so that you could talk to someone who's not in the room with you. The same way they made it so that you could see somebody who's a million miles away while you're sitting in your room. That's where TV comes from. Right now, that's brothers and sisters thousands of miles away. They able to see me. Before technology, where was that power? Who could do that? The Lord could do it. The Lord took Ezekiel up in the spirit in Ezekiel 8th chapter. The Lord took Ezekiel and took him into the temple of the Lord at night, where the men were there sacrificing to other gods and eating swine's flesh. How was Ezekiel able to see what was going on sitting in his room? The Lord took him in the spirit. You understand? There's power that the Lord got. Our oppressor has always, his desire and ambition is to be God. So he's always sought to create ways that he can mimic the power of the Most High. Now, they took little drones up in the sky, right? They shot little electronic beams in the clouds and they made rain. But did they make a hurricane? Did they make a torrential downpour? Did they make something that the earth has never seen before? No. Who does that? For thousands of years, there have been hurricanes, there have been earthquakes, there have been tornadoes. Who was doing it before they came with this technology? God was doing it. Why are they making the technology? Because they want to be like God. And the Bible warns us about that. What the Lord requires and demands is that nothing and no one gets the power for what he does. And that's why the Lord does things on such a grand scale. The Most High doesn't do things on a scale that man can comprehend, that man can measure. Our oppressor is trying to create rain. He sent a little drone and they add maybe 5% more to the rainfall in the region. Well, why is it not raining there in the first place? Why is it so hot there? How come won't no water fall? Because God don't want the water to fall. If God wanted the rain to come, the rain would come. But what does our oppressor do? They seek to find ways to go around the Most High. And the Bible warns us about that. Let's get 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. We're going to start at verse 2. All right? Let me start at verse 3. Come.
When there was famine during the time, well, it was famine talked about.
Mm-hmm.
During the time of Joseph, we just had to deal with it. Like,
listen, here's the thing. This is what people don't forget. We read in the Bible about Egypt and about how Egypt was all powerful and Egypt was mighty. How did Egypt become powerful in the first place? I said this a little earlier in the class. Egypt became powerful because there was a man of God in Egypt named Joseph who the Lord used to prophesy to Pharaoh that there was 7 years of a harvest, abundance harvest. Then there was going to be 7 years of drought. Well, how could the Lord give Joseph the forecast for the next 14 years about the harvest? Because the Lord was the one that was responsible for the 7 years of the plenteous harvest. He also was responsible for the 7 years of the drought. Egypt wouldn't have been shit if it wasn't for Joseph telling Pharaoh what was coming. You understand? Then generations later, they forget who's responsible for them being there. So what did the Lord do? He sent Moses to warn Pharaoh. Either you let my people go or I'm going to plague this place with pestilence. I read the definition of pestilence earlier. Pestilence is a virulent disease. It's a pandemic like COVID-19. God said, I'm going to bring a virus like COVID-19 to Egypt and wipe y'all out. All the plagues, think of all the plagues of Egypt. All the plagues were natural occurring phenomena that God created. The Nile turned to blood. Right now, if somebody living in Tampa, Florida right now, there's something called a red tide right now. There's a ton of dead fish and dead animals washing up on the beaches of Tampa right now. The air down there stink like shit. If you live near Tampa Bay, near the bay in Tampa, it stinks like hell. Why? Because all these dead animals washing up. Ask the scientists, who are all these dead animals coming from? Why is the water red? They're saying, well, it's because of the global warming. The earth is heating up, the water's hotter, there's more algae blooming. The algae is creating different toxins in the water and it's killing the fish. That's God doing that. The Lord is the one making that happen. The Lord is the one that turned the Nile river to blood. What happened when the Nile river turned to blood? Animals and fish died and the river was stinking. This ain't nothing new. God been doing this. Then as a result of the stinking and the dead fish, what happened? All the frogs came out of the goddamn river, came into the land, into people's houses. Then after the frogs, here came all the locusts and all the flies and all the disease and all of the boils that people was getting on their skin. God did all that neat. Rain with hail, the size of golf balls, smashing people's heads, killing the animals in the field, lightnings and thunderings. God did that. God has always done it that way. When God spoke to the children of Israel, they saw a mountain getting ready to erupt. A dark cloud on the mountain lightning, thundering, the mountain was smoking, the earth was shaking. That was God talking to them. And the people, when they were afraid, Moses came and said, the Lord said this. You understand? So one man's natural disaster is another man's message from God. The only men that get the messages from God through these things are the men who righteous and serve the Lord. The men who the Lord has chosen. Not like, here, I'm choosing you to understand what this means. But the men who have given their lives to serving the Lord so they know how he moves. You understand? Right now, COVID-19, God is doing it. Global warming, God is doing it. Flooding all over the earth, God is doing it. Drought in different places, God is doing it. The economy in America has been collapsing for many, many years. People have been warned about it, and people have been hearing whispers about it, and everybody's trying to get in on the cryptocurrency. You think you're going to avoid what God is doing? God is the one that's bringing this place down. There's no avoiding. There's no getting around it. All there is to fear the Lord. If you fear the Lord, you'll do what he said to do. And guess what? Doing what he said to do grants you protection. It grants you never having to fear about any of these things because I know I'm serving the Lord. Let's go ahead and get these scriptures, all right? Second Thessalonians chapter 2. Let me get the 2 Thessalonians. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. You understand? The day of Christ, we're talking about the day of Christ, the day when the Most High sets this earth aright. Everybody understands? That day is not coming until the earth is exposed to who the devil is. Everybody understand? Until the earth is able to see who it is that is responsible for all this death and destruction and evil occurring in the earth. Everybody understands? Now, the Bible is about to describe to us who this man of sin is, who this son of perdition is, in case we didn't already know it. Everybody understand? Here we go. Verse 4. Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God. What does it mean to oppose God? It means to go against him. God set laws and rules in the earth, set up a way that he wanted people to live. And there's someone in the earth that came and said, nah, don't worry about that. The way God said it ain't got to be that way. God said homosexuality was an abomination. Someone came and said, nah, scratch what God said. Homosexuality is an alternative lifestyle. You can't stop love. The Lord said that interracial marriages, mixing interracially, was an abomination and a disgrace in the earth. He flooded the earth during the days of Moses because of interracial mixing. Today in the earth, they say you can't stop love, man. You're free to love who you want to love. They oppose and put their ways above God's. The Lord gave us dietary laws. In Leviticus 11, things you're supposed to eat, things you're supposed to not eat. Somebody came along and said, yeah, nah, scratch that. Pork is the other white meat. Those things, those roaches and those spiders at the bottom of the ocean that clean up all the trash that don't nobody else want, those are delicacies, man. We're going to scoop up the bottom of the oceans and sell everybody crabs and shrimp and lobsters. We're going to promote the eating of these abominations. I don't know what kind of witchcraft is in goddamn mukbang, but there's some stuff up. There's some stuff called mukbang right now where women sit stuck at their TV watching somebody shove crab and lobster and shrimp in their face and squeeze lemon juice and some red sauce, and they love to just make all sort of throat sounds. I don't know what it is with this mukbang. You understand? But there's something about it where people just got to do it. And it's not that they just watch it. People watch it, then what they want, then what do they do? Then guess what? They want to go and they want to get a seafood boil. They want to go bag them a bag and they want to sit and they want to eat like the people they watching on the TV eating. Your oppressor brought you that. He opposes and puts himself above everything that's called God. The Bible tells us that the Lord is the one in these natural disasters. Our oppressor says, no, we can do that too. And they go up in the clouds and shooting laser beams into the clouds to make it rain. The Bible talks about how God is everywhere at all times. He sees everything, knows everything. Nothing can be hidden from God. Our oppressor says, nope, we got something for that. We're going to put surveillance in your cell phone. We're going to listen to all your conversations. We're going to put a chip in your computer where even if you turn it off, we still watching, we still listening. You got your smart TV, you can connect all your apps. Well, guess what? We watching everything you're doing there too. They want to be God. They want to make themselves God. The Bible goes on to say that. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. That's what he wants. What is the temple of God? Anybody, what's the temple of God? It says that this man wants to sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he's God. Sis. Okay, when you say sit in the place of him, what does that mean?
Like, the most I sit up high, he trying to sit up high.
Okay, you on it a little bit. Anybody else? For time's sake, this is what he means. We are the temple of God. The Bible says that you are the temple of God, right? Your body is the temple of God. Your body is where God dwells. Your body is where the Lord is present. And if you live your life righteously, guess what? The Most High sits in the temple, and the temple is whole. The temple is clean. The temple is protected, right? The temple is not defiled. If you live according to God's laws, then the temple of God is in perfect condition. Well, the oppressor wants to live inside of that temple and show himself that he's God. He wants to be in here as God. He wants you to see natural disasters and say, see, man, that's that program I was telling y'all about. That's that conspiracy theory, man. See, I told y'all they controlling the weather. The video we just showed is the evidence that they got weather programs. They trying to control the rain. The oppressor wants you to think he's in control and not God. The oppressor wants you to see COVID-19 and say, oh, nah, man, see, they trying to get everybody sick, man. They see, that's the oppressor again, man. It's a false flag. All these conspiracies going around and nobody is doing and saying to themselves, what does God want? The oppressor wants you to be afraid of COVID-19. So much so that you got to get this vaccine. Oh, man, I got to get that vaccine. That vaccine is the only thing going to save my life. They don't want you to stop. They don't want you to say COVID-19, man, well, I should put down this weed. Maybe I should stop smoking. Maybe I shouldn't do anything that'll bring damage to my lungs. They don't want you to do that. They don't want you to say, man, look at this COVID-19. Maybe I should stop having sex with whores. You understand? Maybe I should stay out of that strip club. They don't want you to say, man, look at the COVID-19. Maybe I should, get right with God. No, they want you to go get the shot and trust in the system. When God is doing these things. And what is the Lord trying to get us to recognize? That he is not pleased with the way that we are living. The Bible says that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You would think that people would see that and say, let me go serve the Lord, man, so that I ain't got to worry about these weapons. But because in your mind, the oppressor is God, what do you want to do? You want to serve him. Or you're rebelling against him. Either way, you're not acknowledging God. When these times that we're living in, we have to acknowledge God. We got to see what's going on in the earth and say, man, the Lord is doing a wonder in this place. If we were not, what they're saying about COVID-19 today is what they said about the plagues in Egypt. What they're saying about the floods and the drought today is what they said about the flood and the droughts in Egypt. What they're saying about the red tide today down there in Tampa, where all the animals dying and washing up dead on the beach, they said about the Nile River being turned to blood and the fish dying during the days of the plagues of Egypt. Like, we should wake up and realize that God is doing today what he's always done when he's brought down empires, which he's showing his power. You understand? Drop that. Let me get Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Get Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep moving. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Let's get Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. You understand? Here's what we have to understand about what's taking place in the earth and why these things are occurring. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7 says, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." You understand? And what we have to understand is that there's a lot of evil taking place in this earth. And there's a lot that is being done blatantly and aggressively as an affront to God. There's certain things that's happening in the earth right now that ain't really got nothing to do with me and you. It's got something to do with somebody else and their hatred for God. Turn on the TV, you look at all these shows and all the homosexuality and all the drug dealing and all of the, the evil that's being promoted. And it's like, man, there's some shows I watch where I know ain't no kids watching this show. Like, I know there's no way that this program is meant to convince kids to do something wrong, because should no kid be watching this? But there's still an aggressive overabundance of homosexuality in this show. There's still an aggressive overabundance of, stereotypes and criminality and philosophies about living your life that go against God. And I'm like, they can't be trying to convince the kids to do it. Either they targeting me or they just making it for the sake of just saying F God. There's some stuff that's just F God. That's the whole point of it. The whole point of it was to say F God. Fuck God. Fuck your religion. Fuck your belief. All that fairy tale shit you believe in them books, F it. This is what life is instead. That's what a lot of this programming is on TV today. You understand? You look at some shows, there's no way any kid should be watching it. So why is there so much homosexuality in your face? Why is there so much transsexuals? Why is there so much rape and molestation? There's three-way sex and all kinds of things is being pushed on us. They ain't talking to no kids. They coming for you. And why are they coming for you? Because coming for you is to show God, look, man, we can do better than you. And that's the war that's taking place. And how does God fight back? He just shut down the entire system by just bringing the drought to wipe out the whole, southwestern part of the country. Just shut everybody down. He'll just let the temperatures continue to rise the heat, fry all the electrical circuits and fry all of the electrical grids. He'll drive up all the gas prices. He'll collapse all the economies. He'll make it so that everybody is distraught and angry and mad, so that they'll go rebel against their government. They won't be worried about being homosexuals or be worried about any transgenders, because they'll be trying to eat. They'll be tired of starving. They'll be tired of being, broken at every turn by something that the oppressor is doing to rob them of what it is that they're working for. That's God that's making those. He's setting those provisions in place. He's the one that's causing the kinks in the system that is putting more pressure on the oppressor to put more pressure on you. And eventually it's going to get to a point where the straw is going to break the camel's back. Everybody understands. But the Lord is not to be mocked. What a man sows, he is going to reap. And there are men on this earth that have sown destruction and evil and wickedness. And what are they going to get in return? destruction and evil and wickedness. How? By the Lord visiting them. How's the Lord going to visit them? He's going to visit them in the tempest and the storm. He's going to visit them in the hail. He's going to visit them in the thunderings and the lightnings and the earthquake and the quaking of the earth. You understand? Because that is how the Lord has always visited the earth. Now we're going to go into the Old Testament. We're going to the book of 1 Samuel, starting at the 2nd chapter, verse 7. Yes, 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 7. Come on with it.
So, about the scripture that we went over, is it the same? I just want to know, as like him, like the vengeance, you know, y'all, he became right down for vengeance, the spirit and stuff in the natural disasters. Are all of these the same, or they kind of like different?
What you mean?
Like, so you got this is where, you know, the most high in the natural disasters. You also broke down, like, the Most High sends out spirits for vengeance. Are these the same?
Yes, the spirits are the ones that cause the weather destruction.
Okay.
A hurricane, an angel creates a hurricane. An angel creates an earthquake. An angel creates, you know, like, okay, this is how it's important for us to understand it this way. The white man has technology, right? He has science. He has mathematical equations and ways that he goes about figuring out how stuff works. But what our oppressor is trying to figure out is the mathematics that the angels use to cause these things.
Oh.
Like there's a higher form of knowledge. There's a higher level of understanding the world that we can't comprehend. Yeah. But the angels already know it. The angels have the mathematics. They have the equations. They created it. Yeah. You understand? It's think of it like this. It's like me playing a video game, right? I play Grand Theft Auto, and I could run, and I could put a gun in somebody's face and get them out the car, and I could drive in the car and play the music on the radio, and then it start raining while I'm playing the game. Well, me trying to study the game to find out how all of that works, there's a science to that game. There's somebody that programmed me running. They programmed press this button to run. They programmed to hold these two buttons to point a gun at somebody. They programmed when the gun gets pointed, somebody says, ah. So there's programming, right? That's the earth. God created the earth and created the weather and the sun and the moon, all the things that occur. God created it. And there's a system that everything operates by. The body has a system. The body is it's an intricate machine. You can go to study, you can go to school, become a doctor and study, you know, the pulmonary system for 7 years, 8 years. You learn how blood vessels work and how arteries work and how stuff gets distributed through the body, through the blood, right? Learning about that system is you studying mathematics that the angels and the Lord put together. You're studying the system that God created, trying to figure it out. That's what our oppressor is doing with the weather, with reality, with everything. They're trying to find, God damn it, they're trying to solve the mystery of how does all of this work. But I could go and try to find out how does Grand Theft Auto work, or I could just enjoy the game. Our oppressor, they don't want to be bound by the rules of life on earth. Yeah. They want to push outside of the rules, which is why they're studying everything. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, it's all the same. The Lord, when I say the Lord does it, the Most High never moves from his throne. He has angels who are responsible for making these things happen. You understand? All right. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 7. This is a very important scripture for us to understand. It says, the Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He brings low and lifts up. You understand? The Most High is the one behind who gets rich and who gets poor. You got people out there playing the lottery, man. You got brothers investing in cryptocurrency and all of these different things. You got people that's, searching for all of these different ways to come up. But understand, God is responsible for who comes up and who doesn't. You understand? What people don't realize is being rich isn't the money you got in your bank account. That don't make you rich. You understand? Being poor isn't living paycheck to paycheck. You understand? The Lord is the one that puts us in positions in life that determines what our status is going to be. But to live your life searching for riches is to live a poor man's life. I want you to understand what I'm saying. To live your life searching for riches is to live a poor man's life. Why? Because having money does not make you rich. Having wealth does not make you rich. What makes you rich in this earth is knowing the Lord, fearing him, and doing what he said to do. It's having the understanding that if God is on my side, then everything else is going to fall into place. Now, is there still a responsibility for you to go out there and to work and to grind and to hustle and to study and to gain understanding so that you can create opportunities for yourself to acquire wealth? Yes, there's a part you got to play. But woe unto the man who spends all of his time and his resources trying to gather money and never learns to serve God. It's better for you to learn to serve God, and the money will come when the money will come. You understand? There are people who live their lives trying to find a way to game the system, trying to find a way to come up without understanding that God will destroy the system tomorrow, and then who's rich and who's poor. God will destroy the system tomorrow, and all your dollars in your account will equal zero. And then what? The Lord is the one who raises men up and brings them down. We're living in the time of the men who are considered rich in this world being brought down. They're being brought low. And because of that, you should not be worrying for riches. You should not be studying, how can I come up? You should be studying, how do I serve the God who's responsible for who comes up and who's brought low? Reading on in 1 Samuel 2, verse 8, he raises up the poor out of the dust and lifts up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. Everybody understands? He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. Everybody understand? Verse 10, the adversaries of the Most High shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Most High shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. Everybody understand? That is what the Most High is going to do. That's what's in the Most High's power. Perhaps you should serve the Lord rather than believing that you know the keys to how to survive economically once the economy crashes. Understand that the economy crashes, God is the one crashing the economy. And God is not crashing the economy for another system that the oppressor has created to now take its place. The Most High is going to crush the entire thing. Everybody understand? Drop that. Let's get Isaiah chapter 47, verse 3. The oppressor does not want you to know what the Most High's role is and all these things that's going on. All right, Isaiah chapter 47, verse 3. And again, the point of these scriptures in this breakdown is to understand the ways that the Most High is visiting the earth. Because there's a lot of brothers and sisters out there that think that they are waiting for the Most High to visit the earth, or they're waiting for the Most High to destroy this place, or they're waiting for the Most High to weaken our oppressor, when he's already doing it. And he's been doing it for a long time. You just have to know the way in which the Most High does it. You understand? Because many of us are looking for a sign, and that realizing the sign you're looking for is never going to come, because that's not the way the Most High moves. Isaiah 47:3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. The Most High's vengeance is not going to come the way that vengeance comes when men bring it. Man, if a man wants to bring vengeance, he'll shoot you or kill you, or rob you. That's not how God deals. The Lord brings vengeance in the earthquake. He brings vengeance by crippling your economy. He brings vengeance by shutting down all the systems which make people satisfied and complacent in their slavery, so that they'll rebel and fight and conquer the slave master. Everybody understand? That's the way the Most High deals in his judgment and in his vengeance. Everybody understands? But what we got to understand is that there are changes that are taking place in the earth. And there are things that are going on that is ensuring that the world that we knew it is no longer going to be something that exists. We are living in the time of transformative change. COVID-19 hit. Everybody that used to get up and go drive to their job, battle traffic for 2 hours just to sit in the cubicle with a bunch of funky breath people that you don't like in a little ass box for 8 hours of the day, the Lord wiped all that out. Them people that used to have to get up and go fight traffic just to go sit in some little ass box, they ain't got to do that no more. They at home. At home, relaxing and chilling, listening to their music in between phone calls. You understand? They pressing their buttons on the computer, clickety clack. You understand? They ain't get gas. Their vehicles are running longer because they ain't burning it out, going up and down the road. These gas prices is high, but guess what? They ain't even got to pay the gas because they sitting at home doing their work. They right there. They can homeschool their kids if they want. Spend more time with their family. God has done that. You understand? The Lord didn't like the way that this place was being run. He didn't like the way this place was operated. So he brought a pestilence down that not only has crippled our oppressor in many ways, but it's changed the way a lot of people are living. There's brothers and sisters who are at home and being exposed to things they would have never been exposed to if it wasn't for them not having to stress about their job, not having to stress about getting up and going to this slavery. You understand? And there's other things that the Most High has done. There's other ways that the earth is changing. The way people thinking are changing. The way people seeing the world is changing. And it is God who's behind it. The Most High is trying to prepare us for the end of this place as we know it and the beginning of the world which is to come. Everybody understand? Let's drop that and let's get Isaiah chapter 13, verse 11. Get Isaiah chapter 13, verse 11. Everybody understand? All right, Isaiah 13:11 says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Everybody understands? The Lord said he was going to do this, man. He was going to punish the wicked. He punished the world for their evil. He was going to punish the wicked for their iniquity. He was going to cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Everybody understand? All of these things that are taking place in the earth right now, it is the Most High beginning to bring an end to this world, beginning to show the people who he wants to see that this place was never the place that we should have deemed our rest. This place was never the place that we should have saw ourselves getting comfortable and settling in and desiring to live the dream that our oppressors set forth for us. Everybody understand? Reading on. Isaiah 13:12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man more than the golden wedge of Ophir. You understand? There was a time when men weren't. In this society, men are not valued. In this society, men are being trained to forget the importance and the necessity of them being protectors and providers. and guiders and leaders and responsible for the well-being and the oversight over their families. There's a lot that's being done on this earth to really bring a man down to being nothing. You understand? And that's not what the Most High desires. The Most High desires for a man to be more precious than gold. How does the Most High make a man more precious than gold? He makes men necessary again. How does he make men necessary again? All of the systems that were in place that made men obsolete have to be removed. You understand? Huh? No, yeah, Moses like it. Moses ain't Christ. No, I thought you said something. Moses ain't Christ. You understand? Think about it. All of those people that used to get up and leave and go to them jobs every day, now everybody's at home. There needs to be a man around where woman can't work and watch kids at the same time. You understand? What about all of the people who ain't working that's in the neighborhood? They know people home all hours of the day. Maybe they may come trying to rob or come trying to steal. Needs to be a man there. You understand? What if the electricity goes out? Well, what are we going to do? How are we going to be safe? How are we going to be protected at night when ain't no lights working? That's what you're going to need a man for. What happens when the phone system shuts down and you can't call 911? You're going to need you a man. The things that are taking place in the earth is the Lord making a man fine as gold. He's restoring the strength and the power and the necessity of men. You understand? All right. Let's see something. Verse 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Most High of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man takes up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. Everybody understand? Those are the times we living in, man. And Most High is bringing this place down, and the safety and the protection and the just general relaxed tone that everybody had is wearing off, man. We people everywhere are realizing we're living in serious times. And as everybody begins to realize that we're living in serious times, they're going to begin to conduct themselves seriously. And what is the most serious thing that you can do with your life? Serve the Most High. The most serious thing you can do with your life is fear the Most High. The most serious thing you can do with your life is to do what the Most High said to do so that you'll be protected. Everybody understand? Let's drop that. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 25 and 12. Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 12. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 12 says, and it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Most High, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolations. You understand? And I will bring upon that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah has prophesied against all the nations. Keep reading. For many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also, and I will recompense them according to their deeds and according to the works of their hands. For thus saith the Most High Power of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them. Verse 17, then took I the cup at the Most High's hand, and made all the nations to drink unto whom the Most High had sent me. Everybody understands? The same thing that Jeremiah, the Most High, prophesied through Jeremiah to these other nations, that prophecy is recurring now in this time that we're living in. The destruction and the global calamity that we are all witnessing and experiencing is the Lord punishing these nations for the evil that they've done. The Chaldeans, the Babylonians in this context, is our oppressor in America today. You understand? It is their empire, their power, their rulership that the Most High is focusing in on destroying in this time. And all the other nations who have gathered with our oppressor to oppress us in this land, to keep us asleep concerning our identity and our culture, to rob us and to take advantage of us and to use us in our communities for our resources, you understand, to plague us with insecurity and with a lack of pride in ourselves and not knowing who we are and where we come from, what our purpose is. The Most High is going to make all those nations who gather with our oppressor to keep us low, and the Lord is going to make them weak. Everybody understands? COVID-19 is just the beginning. COVID-19 is just the latest way that the Most High has been dealing with our oppressors and dealing with our enemies. But he's been dealing with them all over the earth. You go look around the planet, go watch the news in other places on the earth. You're going to see droughts. You're going to see floods. You're going to see mysterious deaths of mass groups of animals. You're going to see some form of chicken pox that ain't never been seen before is ravishing this village. Some new venereal disease is killing people and making penises fall off. You're going to see all kinds of things taking place in this earth, and you should know that it is the Lord that is doing it. Why is he doing it? Because he is trying to prepare the way for the next world to come. You understand? The destruction of our oppressor can't be natural. Meaning what it can't be, just coincidence. What happened in Egypt with Pharaoh and the destruction of Egypt, that was not natural. Everybody who witnessed it and experienced it, they knew it was God. They knew it was something supernatural going on. Something out of this world that is taking place. Well, that's what it's going to take to bring this empire down today. That's what it's going to take to cripple this oppressor. This oppressor can't be brought down by guns. He can't be brought down by, missiles. He can't be brought down by just the average way empires rise and fall in the earth. Something supernatural from the Lord has to take this oppressor out. And that is why the things that are occurring in the earth are taking place. Everybody understand? We go now to Isaiah chapter 47, verse 12. Get Isaiah chapter 47, go to verse 10. Isaiah 47 and 10 says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness," speaking to the oppressor. "Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it has perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me." What is the wisdom and the knowledge of the oppressor? It's their technology. It's their system that they have in place that props them up and makes them feel like they're better than everyone and no one can touch them. There's things this oppressor gets going on that we don't even know. And because of it, he feels like, man, I'm going to Mars. Nothing gonna stop me. We're gonna build a space defense system. For whatever's out there in the stars gonna come, we're gonna wipe it out, we're gonna take care of it. And they're fairly confident they're gonna do the job. They're confident they're gonna be able to just get it done. You understand? Most High said their wisdom and their knowledge, it has perverted them. They think that they understand how creation occurred. They think that they understand how to access the fourth dimension. They think they understand. I'm watching these shows, man. I'm watching these shows, and our oppressor's talking about time travel. He's talking about the multiverse. He's talking about different universes and different dimensions. He thinks that he knows the science behind it. He thinks he knows how it all works. He got an idea, at least. And because he has an idea, he thinks he can tap into it. Yeah. He don't know that. He doesn't know that his attempts at recreating God's natural system is laughable to the Most High. You understand? There's things that our oppressor has done, and he's been successful. He's done a good job for man, but the Most High laughs at it. Everybody understands? The Most High said to stand now, you trusted in your wickedness, and you said, none seeth me. This is Isaiah 47:10. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it has perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Verse 11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from where it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to pull it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Most High is wiping, he's going to wipe this place out. He's going to destroy this oppressor. And there's nothing that they're going to do about it. Verse 12, stand now with thine enchantments. Don't turn from your technology today. Don't turn from your system. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. The Lord says, stand now with all of your enchantments, with your sorceries. You've been laboring in them since your youth. Our oppressor has been laboring to try and create what God has for so long. Think about where the idea of flying came from. Man been on the earth for how many years? How many thousands of years has man been on the earth? It wasn't until this man rose in the earth that people wanted to learn how to fly. How long man been on the earth? It wasn't until this man came on the earth that he wanted to devise a system of electricity. How long has man been on the earth? It wasn't until this man came to power that we created firearms and guns and missiles and tanks. The Lord is saying, stand with it, man. Don't run from it now. You didn't labor so hard. You done fought so hard and so long to be the big bad man, to be all-knowing and all-seeing and all-present. Stand now. The Lord said, don't stop. And when you understand the history of our oppressor and the roots of what is taking place in society today, when you understand the roots of it, goes back thousands of years, goes back into ancient cultures, then you'll understand what the Lord is saying here. You understand? People love to talk about, not talk about, but the Most High is talking to the people who have been laboring to overthrow him for thousands of generations. You understand? What our oppressor has done in the past 100 years, because they only been flying in 100 years. They only had guns for 300 years. Tanks and, missiles and all of that, the past 50 years, past, 100 years. They've been trying to get this way for thousands of years. They've been trying to get to this point for thousands of years. You understand? And the Most High said, you done fought long and hard to get to where you at. Well, stand on it. Don't back down now. Don't get scary now. Stand with it. And let's see if you'll be able to prevail. You understand? Keep reading verse 13. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm it, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter. None shall save thee. Everybody understands? The Most High is going to destroy this place. He is going to bring it down. So what should you do? You should put your trust in the Most High. You should see the Most High destroying it. You should see him bringing it down. You should look at COVID and say, man, surely God is moving in this place. You should look at global warming and say, yeah, that's God doing that, man. God is he destroying this place. They talking about the rising of the sea levels. You go look at every major city across this earth. All of them sit on the sea borders. And imagine if the Lord did something, who knows what, but did something to make the water rise 30 feet all across the earth? What if global warming is the Lord melting all the ice caps so that the sea levels rise? What if the sea levels rose 200 feet? New York City would be buried underwater. The entire New York City would be buried underwater. All of Los Angeles would be swallowed up in the sea if the sea levels rose 200 feet. New Orleans is under the water. It's gone. The whole thing disappeared. Nobody ever even sees it. You understand? Memphis, Tennessee, well, we on the river. We ain't. Well, imagine if the Mississippi River grew 200 feet. We underwater. We gone. And who could do that? God could do it. God has the power. What if that could be what global warming is? The Lord just heating everything up. Just melt that ice so they just drown. Then they got to flee to the hills. They got to go to the high, you know what I'm saying? Go to the mountains. Go live in the high hills. He could do it. What if the Lord made it flood in certain parts of the earth, but then made the water recede in others? You understand? The Most High got the power to do all these things, man. And he's promised what he's going to do. And he promised us that there's a kingdom that is going to come. So as you see this destruction and you see these calamities across the globe, turn and face the Lord. Face the east and pray. Get in class and learn and pray that the Most High give you the strength and the discipline and the focus and the diligence to become the man and the woman that is worthy of survival, that is worthy of making it, that is worthy of getting out of this hell and standing on the other side when our King comes to establish his rulership on the earth. Everybody understand? One more scripture, we're going to close out the class, all right? So, go to Daniel chapter 2, verse 45. And this is when Daniel was given a prophecy to King Nebuchadnezzar, another king again. The righteous men of God are responsible for every empire that has ever been erected in the earth. And when I say that, what I mean is they were the ones who gave men foresight, gave men knowledge, and gave men understanding that propelled them into the positions of rulership and power that they have held and maintained on the earth. And here's the example of our oppressor, of an oppressor in the past being prophesied the future by the prophet Daniel. Everybody understands? Daniel chapter 2, verse 45 says, "For as much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break it." Now, this is the vision that Daniel gave to Nebuchadnezzar from his dream. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream of a giant statue. The head was gold, the chest was silver, the midsection was brass, below the waist was steel, and from the knees down was iron and clay. Everybody understand? He wanted to know what the hell this dream was about. And then after he saw the stone, saw the image, the statue, he saw a giant stone coming out of the sky, crashing down and smashing the statue. He wanted to know what the hell was this, man? What was this dream about? So Daniel is explaining the dream and telling him that statue you saw were all the different empires on the earth, all the different kingdoms that have existed. And the rock, that stone that you saw coming out of the heaven and smashing that statue, that's the kingdom that God is going to set up. So now we get to the part where he's describing that rock, that stone that came out of the heaven. Daniel 2 and 45. "For as much as thou sawest that the stone, was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God has made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure." You understand? So what was Daniel telling him? The Most High has just revealed to you what's going to happen in the end. And in the end, a great stone cut out of a mountain, not with hands. What is that talking about? It's talking about something that man doesn't create, something that's not man-made. You got a giant stone cut out of a mountain, but it's not cut out with hands. How the hell did it get cut out the mountain? If man cut this stone out of the mountain, it would have been cut out with hands. This giant stone is coming from God. This giant stone is not anything that man has created, not anything that man has done. This is God. Everybody understand? And this stone crashes into this statue and destroys it, meaning what? It wipes out all the empires of the earth. Wipes out all of their rulerships and all of their ambitions and all of their goals. This stone that is cut out from a mountain but not with hands, the statue is no match for it. This is the rulership of Christ. This is the power of God, this stone. Everybody understands? What we got to understand is that in these times, there's the last of these empires that were prophesied by Daniel was in the earth. And the only thing that's left is for that stone to come crashing down and to destroy and wipe out any remnants of that statue. And that is what is taking place with God in the earth today. Everybody understands? So what should we do? We see COVID-19, see global warming, all the whisperings of food shortages, and we're seeing about droughts and floods and the wavering economy. We should be praying. We should be seeking the Most High. We should be putting our trust in Him and not putting our trust in our oppressor or in the system that they have in place. Now is the time for you to seek after the Most High. Now is the time to find out what He requires of you and to do what it is that He's demanded be done, so that we do not die and suffer the things that the other nations will suffer in these times. With that, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, right out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. For brothers and sisters tuning in, man, we got rules in the school for new brothers and sisters. They are off limits for 6 months. They are here to learn and share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. We have a system in place where brothers and sisters can get to know one another and can find out they're compatible and can maybe one day, come together in a union, in a relationship, and get married. But everything must be done decently and in order, and that is what we do here in the UPK. We do everything in the UPK with decency and in order. All right, so if you got an interest in a particular person, man, seek permission to speak to a brother or sister. That may be arranged. Get an opportunity to meet, to talk to a brother or sister, see how compatible you are. After 6 months, you can seek permission to marry. Marriages in the UPK are forever. They are final. So keep that in mind when you decide to choose someone to spend the rest of your life with. Having said that, pay your tithes. 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you comes into the school. The tithes in the UPK go to build these schools up, provide for brothers and sisters all of their necessities that they may need. Support the truth, pay your tithes. For all you brothers and sisters tuning in, man, like, share, subscribe, help us spread the truth. See all the different platforms you can follow us there. And with that, we're going to send up the prayers. So Imagine, which means to stand. Punya Hakodum, which means turn and face the east. We're just going to say the Lord's Prayer tonight, all right? All right, we're going to say it in the Hebrew first. Repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakavka, Thaba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, the thunder now, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalak now, Kababwav now, Kasalak now, Kababwav now, Wala'ah, Tabayan now, Banasai 1, Abal, Abashai now, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahapara, Wahatha Pa'ara, Most High Christ. La Iwalunyam, Aman. All right, we're going to say it in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Saw, which means turn. We're going to give courtesy salute. One courtesy salute for the brothers, men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh, Shem Yahushua, Barakathon. So Most High bless you in the name of Yahushua. Yajamatah, hands down. Saw, turn and face the sisters. Give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Alathan, Hashem Yahushua. Yajamatah, class dismissed.